Let's go.
Ooh, what's going on, my fellow American patriots? It's your boy Kevin. Welcome back to the channel. Country music was the last frontier of any form of entertainment industry in this country portraying true American values. But that came to an end last night as the CMT Awards were front and center. We had Kelsea Ballerini, a country music performer, bring drag queens on stage in front of children, and it ended everything. There's no longer any form of entertainment in this country that caters to true Americans, to Americans who don't want their kids to be thrust into singing nonsense like trans and drag artists, and it is a complete joke. CMT Music Award go, whoa, Kelsea Ballerini stands in solidarity with drag queens seeking child audiences. Let's take a look at the performance, which was disgusting. We can see on stage here, Kelsea Ballerini has Tyrone right here, Donald right there, Jimmy right there, and there is Bobby in the far right corner. And Jimmy, Donald, Bobby, and Timmy are drag artists. And you know there's a bunch of kids at the CMT Awards. You know there's a bunch of kids watching the CMT Awards at home. What a complete and utter joke. All right, so there we have it. Performing in front of a bunch of kids are drag queen artists. Now, they say that they don't want a child audience. They say they just want to have the right to perform. But that is all bullshit. We know it's bullshit because we see the pictures of them reading books to little kids. We see the pictures of them in the videos of them performing on stage at the CMT Awards where there's a bunch of kids in the audience. Now, I am not the type of person who thinks this type of performance should be banned. I don't think that. That would violate their First Amendment right. But performing in front of kids should be banned. I think they should be able to perform. If they want to perform in a bar, that's their right. And if adults want to go to that bar and watch that performance, that is their right. But kids cannot make that decision and should not be able to make that decision because kids cannot make wise decisions. So we have Kelsea Ballerini, and it gets even worse, folks. It gets even sicker. She says that she did this performance in order to honor the Nashville school shooting victims, the Covenant Christian school shooting victims, which is a complete disgrace to those kids. And if I was one of those parents who lost a kid, I would be so furious at the reaction from the White House and the entertainment industry and the media. Kelsea Ballerini tweets, "If you go down, I'm going too. Gay flag. Thank you to these iconic queens and for celebrating love, self-expression, and performance." What a travesty. Ballerini, a co-host of the annual award show with singer Kane Brown, opened the Austin, Texas show by listing the names of the 6 victims of the Covenant school shooting. 3 9-year-olds and 3 adults who were killed Monday at the Covenant school shooting in Nashville, Tennessee. She noted at how she shared their pain. She shared their pain. Yeah, sure. I'm sure you shared their pain. What Kelsea Ballerini was trying to do was to sell music, and I'm sure she did just that. There's going to be a lot of woke activists who see these headlines this morning who log onto their computer and buy her music today. Little does she realize that in the long run, it is going to crush her career. Because who do you think's really buying country music? Do you think it's drag queens? Do you think it's people who support drag queens and drag queens performing in front of kids? No, it's not. The type of people who listen to country music don't go to drag queen performances. Hate to break it to you, Kelsea. So you may see a short spike of increased music sales. It may last a day or two, maybe even a week. But in the long run, she just demolished her own career. This performance and all this hoopla comes on the heels of Tennessee Governor Bill Lee banning drag performances and gender-affirming care for minors. And I applaud the governor for standing up to this nonsense. The law, Tennessee Governor Bill Lee signed into law Thursday a total ban of gender-affirming care for transgender children, despite calls for him to veto the bill and threats of incoming litigation. Lee also signed off on a new law to prohibit adult-oriented entertainment. like the performance we just saw on stage at the CMT award. So technically, Kelsea Ballerini may have broken the law. If I was the governor, I would look into this and see if I could maybe fine her or maybe even press charges on her. Prohibits entertainment, including male and female impersonators. What did we just see? We just saw Donald, Timmy, and Billy up on stage impersonating women. So that just broke the law. It bars them from public property and limits it to age-restricted venues. Well, you know there was a ton of little kids watching that performance on TV and in person in the crowd. That was not an age-restricted venue. So did Kelsea Ballerini just break the law? The new health law bans medications such as puberty blockers and hormone treatments to treat any underlying gender dysphoria cause, affecting Tennessee children who identify as transgender and non-binary. Okay, I'm not the type of person that thinks all drag shows should be banned. I think if you want to go see a drag show, that's kind of weird. But if you're an adult, you should be able to make that decision. So if those drag artists want to perform in front of other adults, they should go to a bar and do so. They shouldn't be doing it on stage in front of children. They shouldn't be reading books in front of children. It just doesn't make any sense. And I applaud the governor of Tennessee for doing this and signing these bills into law. It makes zero sense for kids to be receiving puberty blockers and chemical castration medications. Are we kidding ourselves here? That is a crime. If you're a doctor out there giving kids this type of medication, gender-affirming medication, no, you're a sicko. And we know where the White House stands on this. We know where the White House stands on this because just a day or two after the Tennessee shooting, where 3 kids with not an ounce of bad blood in their body, innocent kids, lost their life, the White House comes out and says this.
Across the country, in particular, these anti-trans bills, as they attack trans kids, as they attack trans parents, it is shameful and it is unacceptable. As you mentioned, tomorrow's Trans Visibility Day, on a day that we should be lifting up our trans kids, our trans youth, and making sure that they feel seen. We're seeing more and more of these hateful bills. And that's what Republicans want to spend their time on. They don't want to talk about lowering costs. They don't want to talk about...
Yeah, we do want to spend our time on it because 3 Christian kids and 3 Christian adults were just murdered in a school. And instead of talking about the attack on Christianity, the attack on our beliefs, you want to talk about giving kids medications that block puberty, giving kids medication that could potentially prohibit them from having children when they're adults and when they're thinking clearly. You want to talk about nonsense. We also had a bunch of liberal wackos storm the Tennessee Capitol last week, and it wasn't deemed an insurrection. It wasn't deemed seditious conspiracy. It was just a bunch of kids, good kids, trying to get their point across, right? When they do it,
it's cool when they do it. It's a problem when I do it. Fuck 'em, fuck 'em.
It isn't a crime. When we do it, we go to prison for 4 years. These people stormed the Tennessee Capitol. There were state representatives that had to be hidden inside of the Capitol in order to prevent them from getting trampled or beaten or something worse happening to them. When they do it, it's nothing. It's not a crime. When we do it, we go to prison for treason. I find it disgusting that the narrative after the Tennessee school shooting was protect trans activists. It was protect the right of transgender people and drag queens to perform and express their transism. It wasn't save our kids. It wasn't protect our kids from crazy trans people. It wasn't put armed resource officers in our kids' schools. It wasn't protect Christians' right to express their Christian beliefs. It was protect trans activists. And that's where we are as a country. If you're not woke, you're wrong. If you're not woke, then we don't care. And that's disgusting. Let me know what you think in the comments. I love you guys, and I'll catch you in the next video. Subscribe to the channel, hit that like button. Peace.